Hello, my name is Rixie and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a review of ROBLOX Bloodlines. And what ROBLOX Bloodlines is that it is a rogue lineage type game based on Naruto. And Naruto is an anime about ninjas. And for watching this video, I'm assuming you know what Naruto is. And I'm also assuming that you know what Bloodlines is. And the main question I want to ask you, or answer in this video, is if you should spend the money, the 300 Robux, to buy this game. And I'm going to break it down in a few sections here. So let's get into the video. Before I start, if you do like the content I make and do like the video, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. It doesn't really take much from you. So now let's get into the video. So let's start with when you start the game. So when you start the game of Bloodlines, there is a controls which tell you most of the controls and such, but like other rogue lineage type games, it doesn't hold your hand, and that is a problem that I myself have a problem with, because there's a difference between not holding your hand and ripping your arm off. Because if you, let's say, they give you controls and that's all you have, and then I talk to certain NPCs to try to figure out, what's happening, how to do this, how to do that, whatever. I have to rely on the community, which also, in these types of games, are going to be hostile. Only at spawn, I found certain people, like, what do I do in this game? I asked, like, multiple people, what do I do? Because at multiple times, I found myself asking myself, what do I do in this game? I played for a total of maybe 2 to 3 hours of Bloodlines, and I know, oh man, that's not a lot. But I got enough out of the game to say, yeah, this is not my type of game, this is not what I want out of a game, and this is not what I feel like is worth the money for. So you start the game, you show up in this really desolate desert, and it is so open, it reminds me a lot of Rogue Lineage, which is probably where they got a lot of inspiration from. So, yeah, you start in this desolate desert. The building is okay, it's okay. Other games that try to do this, like Deepwoken, which I played a lot of, mediate this with structures and buildings that catch your eye, and you don't really feel like you're stuck anywhere, or you can't, you don't have fun exploring in Bloodlines because there's not a lot to explore. I ran around at least the desert part for a better part of like 2 hours maybe to explore and stuff and figure out what was in there. And I gotta say, the exploring part, which is the first thing I'm gonna get into, is not all that enticing. What you want to entice players with is, I look in the distance, what is that? Okay, what is that in the distance? I want to go to that thing, and I want to explore it to see what it will give. Okay, I did it a numerous amount of times, and the main way to level up and progress in this, and I'll talk about progressing next, is you need to find loot and stuff to level yourself up. However, in this case, it's not enticing as a new player's experience to go look at, there are like some ribs in the desert or whatever. I go to them, there's nothing there. I go to this chakra point, which is a respawn point, like bonfires and Dark Souls, which you could travel to and from per your leisure. I go to a chakra point, and there's not really anything there. Like there's not much there. Exploration is not enticing. The building's mediocre. When you go to a point of interest, there's not a lot there. So even if you're like, this area looks cool, there's not a lot there. You don't really get anything from it. So yeah, that was my first impression when exploring in the game. And the second thing I'll talk about is progression. So progression and the life and death cycle in this game, I also have a problem with. And just as far as the game that I got into, and watching Z-Shot's video, I watched a few minutes of it to get his thoughts, pique his interest as well, which I'll link in the description below if you watch this to watch his as well. Is that it's pretty bad. Like, it's a problem I had with Rogue Lineage as well, is when you had 2 lives, and if you get gripped, it works on a grip system, so if, you lose your health, and then they have to execute you to take a life. So this works in a 5 life system. You go at 100% life force, and then you go 20% each time you die. As that's how that works. And so I figured out pretty easily. That's, you know, when I die, my little circle in the middle goes down. Okay, that's fine. How to level up and progress in the game. So I asked people this, and I had to rest. So you had to go rest at a chakra point, which is just spawn point when you start a city or whatever. That's fine. And then you unlock things using money. Using money that you sell. You sell loot, little trinkets and baubles. Like if you've ever played Rogue Lineage, it's the same system. You go to a vendor in a city, you sell the stuff, you come back, you go sell the stuff. But that's how you progress in the game. That's not just how you get money. That's how you progress your character and upgrade new skills and abilities. And that's fine. That inherently as a system is not an inherently broken system. That system's completely fine. If you want to have a money-relying system, that is... I'm all for that, by the way. But the way that you get this is not enticing. And I'll go back to the exploration here. Is that when I did find things... And when I did find these little baubles and stuff, they spawned. Sometimes they spawn right in front of me, which is very weird. NPCs spawn and stuff, and sometimes they drop like armor fragments, which I got a few, which I couldn't sell at the main city that I found. At least to my knowledge. Maybe I missed the vendor, which is completely on me. But just the gameplay loop of, okay, I'm gonna go find, run around for loot, and then come back. And then gain this little ability, and then go run around for loot, come back. That's not enticing, because number one problem is that exploration is enticing. So if I'm not enticed by exploration, and the main way to progress, at least early, as a new player, that you have to do, that you're forced to do, is explore, and if that's not enticing, that's not an enticing game. Then that's not a good gameplay loop. That you don't like that. Same problem with that with Rogue Lineage. More so with Bloodlines. I found the structures to be more enticing, and you know, there's more things to do in Rogue Lineage, I guess, or more of a interactive community. I saw half my players in this game resting at a chakra point, and the other half had killed me on sight. So, yeah. How you progress in this game, you get there's chakra shards as well, which I forgot how you get. A guy told me at one point, now you got them. And at that point, I just quit the game because I wasn't having fun. I was not having an enjoyable experience. So yes, the fundamental gameplay loop in this game of progressing, of finding money, and then eventually finding chakra shards, and going out into random places, try to find the loot tables, and you're like, oh, this is where they spawn. I go here, I click the button to pick it up, and then I go back to the chakra point, and then I level up. That's not really enticing, you know. You don't. I know I'm saying enticing a lot, but that's not a good and system that rewards gameplay. You know, you're not rewarding player skill or anything. A good game that does this is, which I did play, obviously a lot of in my channel, is Deep Oaken. How you mainly level up is you perform certain actions. It's mostly by attacking enemies and using combat, in which Deep Oaken has a very robust, nice combat system, which I enjoy immensely. And I don't play Roblox a ton. I used to play it a lot because I streamed a lot, but it's not just Roblox, but not just in Roblox, but as a combat system in overall, that was an enticing, a robust, very pleasant combat system to use. It felt very satisfying to parry and stuff like that. And third, I'll go on to the combat system and the movement and fluidity of the game next. So the system works on, like, I'm going to say Rogue Lineage a lot because this is the most to compare it to. It's Naruto Rogue Lineage. It works almost exactly like it. You work with a heavy attack, a light attack, and then all the jutsus you could do, which I never got any, so I can't attest to how fun that would be. I lost interest before I got any. I will say that. I didn't play an immense amount of the game. But this is my first review of a new player in this game. And as a new player, you're not going to be... It's not fun unless you do certain things, which you almost have to certainly rely on the community and videos to figure out what you're doing in this game, which some people like. I myself would, I'd like tips to be like, oh, this is the best thing to do, whatever. But if I'm in the game and I don't know what to do, I have to figure out, okay, how do I figured out pretty quickly, okay, money, you get that, you rest a tracker point, you get that down. That's how you progress your skills. Okay, what are these tracker shards? How do you get those? You have to ask people, and those people are not going to be all that nice to you. But that's besides the point. The fluidity and the combat system of the game. It's very clunky. It is very clunky. You have a slide, which you do down slopes. You have a double jump, which you start with, which progresses to a triple jump, which I got to, and other movement. You have a roll or / dash, which I found very not fun to use, because as I dashed, I stopped running. So I'd had to, and how you run in this game, it's not one button, it's not shift. You have to physically double tap W to run, which is like Minecraft, okay, like Minecraft. You double tap W, and then you start running, okay, and then you dash. Okay, so when you dash, you stop running, and then have to double tap W again. Like, that's just a frustrating system to use. So if I want to go faster, because it is overall faster to run, roll, and then keep running. How Deep Woken had it is that you would slide, jump, and then roll, and then keep running, or whatever. And that was a very satisfying system to use and to run with, because it felt nice to keep running and stuff like that. It was a nice loop of doing that. Or like Warframe, where you could bullet jump, where you shift, jump, and then W, and then such like that. If you played Warframe, bullet jumping is a very satisfying system to use, where you, and then aim, glide, and then roll, and that is a very satisfying and not very skillful, but once you get it down, it's very nice to use that cycle to move faster. It's not just running forward. The combat, as I said, had a heavy attack, a light attack, and a block, and I believe a perfect block, which functioned as a parry. And that's fine. There's a very simplistic combat system, which I believe Rogue Lineage has something similar. Deep Woken has a more robust system, of course, but it's not all that, what it's cracked out to be. You could dodge out of the way, you could attack, and then you could, heavy attack. I found fighting with multiple enemies to be an absolute shit show. It was disgusting. I fell into a pit, and I'm gonna play the footage here. I fell into a pit, and it was Bandit Pit, and I just started the game, so I'm not the best at combat, I don't have everything, but if there was one of these guys, I could probably definitely take him, okay? But there's 5 of these guys, they are moving at the same speed, I can't kite one of them out, and they all move to me, and I die almost instantly, and I die. And that's 20% of my life force gone, and I didn't figure out how to regain that, so I die, and then I have to restart if I die 5 times. There's not an easy way to progress to regain that life force system back. As I watched a little bit of Z-Shot's video, as I said before, it is very hard to gain this life force back again from that. So, yeah, you get 5 deaths, and that's it. Rogue Lineage also had this problem for me, so I'm not just ratting out Bloodlines at all. Rogue Lineage is the same issue. Deep Woken has a very nice system where you have 3 deaths if you count the depths, where you could come back from the trial, or 3 deaths, and then how you get back from rusted health bar is you go back, you level up, which isn't all that hard to do. Or how you do it in Deep Woken is that you do the trial, which sets you back all the way back up to 3. It's a more interactive system where I'm not like, oh man, I only have 5 deaths before I get anything out of that, man. Before I'm like, my character's all gone, he's dead, I can't do anything else. It's better in Rogue Lineage because it was either 2 or 3, mind you, and the way to gain that, well, I never figured that out when I played the game. I played it for a certain few hours. New player experience was also terrible in that game as well, I found. If you like Rogue Lineage, that's your type of game. It's not my cup of tea, and it's not what I suggest to my viewers. So, yeah, combat, it's very clunky, it's very simplistic in terms of that. Movement is weird. You slide down a hill. I got caught a few times. You can only slide when you're going down a hill. Um, yeah, that's that. I didn't feel fun or rewarding to play either of these systems in the game. Now, I did encounter a few bugs when I'm playing, which I'm going to get down to now. Now, the first bug I found is that I literally couldn't do anything. I had to reset my character, and I found that if I had to do that while I was in combat or anything, that'd be very frustrating for me. That'd be very, very frustrating. So luckily, I reset my character, and it was all fine. Another bug is just that movement is weird, and I stopped sliding. I found sometimes I stop sliding when I'm sliding down a hill. And that's what I found. I'm sure there's more of my footage, but this is all I can remember at the moment. And those are the few bugs. But if that is a common occurrence, where I just cannot do anything, I couldn't open my menu, I couldn't interact with anybody, all I could do was like move around. And that's basically it. I don't know what I did, if I soft locked myself at some point, but that was very frustrating for me. And let's go on to the community, because that's certainly going to be a point of contention with this. Now, the community with all of these types of games are going to be horrendous. That's something you can control, and I'm not putting that against the game. But that is a factor when I'm going to be considering how much fun I had with the game, which was very little. It was very, very boring. Very, very boring when I played this game. Now, I am a Naruto fan. I am a Deep Woken enjoyer. So, yeah, they obviously don't have as much resources as Deep Woken, so I'm not putting that against them and what they did. Yeah, it's not all that good. But yeah, the community. First time I went with somebody, they were fighting this boss, this giant guy, and they had a giant stone golem too, and I tried to attack it because I thought that was a big guy too, but I'm assuming that was a jitsu of him or his or some sort, and then he gripped me and attacked me, and I was like, hey, wait, chill, I didn't mean to do that, wait, time out. He saw that I had no jitsus, I had nothing, I couldn't really defend myself, really? And it's not like Deep Woken where, even if you are at the start, you could really piece somebody up, you could really mess somebody up real bad as a freshie against somebody that is a lot better, or a higher level than you. Now you're going to be at a major disadvantage, but it really factors into how much skill factors into Deep Woken. And I feel like that doesn't factor as much. I know I haven't played much of the game, and I was pretty bad, mind you. I was probably pretty bad since I just started. But I feel like there's not as much skill expression with the systems they use with this. So if I'm a higher level, I just have jitsus and stuff. Lower level players, they're not going to be anything to me. They could mess me up royally. I could be messed up. I could be killed, beaten, dragged, carried, anything. And that's how that is. The community, a few people told me like what to do, so that was fine. But I was in town. I don't know if I could attack people in town. There's nothing defending myself, so that's something as well. Is that there's no defense against spawn? I guess maybe I don't know if there's much spawn protection. I know when you go to a crystal, a chakra crystal or a chakra point, you have a force field on you. But I don't know if there's any guards in town. I never found myself killing somebody, but I did attack somebody on accident a few times. So that is where I put the community at, is that it is a very hostile community. I find if you find yourself out in the open trying to mind your own business, you will be attacked if you can find anybody at all, frankly, because it was hard finding people, except if you were at a town or another chakra point. If you're out in the open, it's very barren. It is very, very barren. There's almost no NPCs that I found. There is almost no points of interest that I found peaking. I did go to a Hyuga temple, which was fine, but I couldn't do anything there. All the NPCs said to me is like, I don't trust you, you're not very good. And that doesn't give me anything how to be their friend, or how to progress their storyline, or how to progress with them. Or he's like, you have the wrong color's eyes, which I'm like, okay, that's a little racist. How you go, man? But that's fine. I don't care much. It's fine. I guess my clan wasn't the best. I had the Senju clan. It was a 20% roll, and this is something I'm also going to put against the game as well. Something I'm also going to put against Rogue Lineage is rolling and that type of monetization. And that's ridiculous. I personally do not like that type of monetization. I myself have been preyed to it many times. And I'm going to say a fine way to do it, or a more okay way to do it, which I'm going to say to Deep Oaken, which I still have my problems with, but it's a better way to do it. Okay, so Deep Oaken has races which you could roll and such, but they don't offer as much as a bonus to other races, so you're not be like, oh man, I'm stuck as this race? Damn, I can't do anything. I'm not as good as this guy. Okay, when I found those ones, the clans, and I don't know how much they do, but I know for certain they're going to be preyed on because of the percentages of that. And, you know, Deep Oaken is this issue too, but it's mostly cosmetic. It's mostly cosmetic what they do. And I don't know how good the clans are in Bloodlines, but I'm going to say having those types of race rerolls are very predatory on children and such like that. So, yeah, like, it funnels a lot to an addictive personality, which I have a moderate addictive personality, so I find myself rolling and such and buying stuff, which I have done in Deep Oaken before when I had the money. And I could find people being great at this as well. And then the system of, okay, you could reroll and buy back your character. That's more okay. You know, Deep Oaken has, you know, you can buy back your character. Oh well. That's how I view that system. And lastly, before I get to my final thoughts and just overall ranting about the video, or the game Bloodlines, is I'm going to go down sound design. And that was very weird to go down sound design, but I'm going to go down sound design and atmosphere. The sound design was bad. I'm going to get it over with. The sound design was very bad. At least in the desert, it was very loud and clunky every time I fucking walked. It was just do 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 do, and it was so annoying. It was so annoying. I had my sound relatively low, but I did not X-nay any music. I did not turn my sound. I did not have a music down or a music off. And sometimes I have that off in Deep Oaken. But I do appreciate having music in the background, so to break it up and to have a more fun experience when I'm exploring. Well, turn on your own music. Okay, that's a fair point. I understand that. Have your own music when you're listening to the game or playing the game alone. That's completely fine. But having the atmosphere and music in the general, especially in a Naruto game, you know, little music, you know, like the stingers they could do, or just type music like that. You don't have to get the exact license because you probably can't. But you can make something similar if you're doing a Naruto type game in Roblox. The sound design when it came down to the walking again, I found myself trying to jump because of how annoying the walking sound was. I found it's not as bad as on grass, but I do have a clip which I'm going to play. Of me walking in the sand. I'm going to say, if you can handle it for 3 hours, you are insane. You are a madman. But I cannot. I personally cannot handle listening to that sound over and over again when I'm running in the desert, trying to find loot. We're trying to find 3 Rio, which is the currency in this game, worth of money to upgrade my guy. That's insane. I'm not insane. I'm not crazy. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to myself. The atmosphere of the game. The desert was very dusty, which is, okay, it's a desert. Also rain there, which is kind of crazy because it's a desert. But I get it, fine, rain in the desert. I'm not going to put that against the game. It was just a little weird. is that the clouding I found it against it because I couldn't see points of interest. Now, Deep Lagoon's a very light fog, so you can see things in the distance, so you'd be like, oh, what's that over there? Exploration's very fun in that game because there's a lot of things to explore. It's very enticing. There's a lot of things to be like, oh, what's this? Oh, what's that? Oh, and I'm upgrading my character because there's NPCs everywhere, and there's things to do, and there's a chest, and there's resources and stuff. There's nothing in that game. There's no crafting, and you don't have to have crafting. Deep Vulcan, I could give or take it. Crafting, oh well. But there's crafting in Deep Vulcan. There are resources to gather. There's other things like this. There's a NPC every maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I know I'm just in the starter area, but I'm getting this from a starter point of view. When I found this game is that there's NPCs every 5 minutes when I walked around. That's insane. I'm not gonna wait 5 minutes for something to spawn. That is not very okay. Yeah, that is the sound design and stuff like that. And I'm ranting again, but I'm going to go into my final thoughts and say if the game is worth it or not. And it's mostly negative. So, I'm going to go into things I enjoyed about the game. And the few things I enjoyed about the game. I did like the skill tree system. I found that to be nice. I do like that they have a use for money, which I found Deep Vulcan, once you get certain things, you really don't have a use for notes anymore. You could really save them up, and, you know, they're kind of useless after that. Money I found when I was in the game, that it probably has a more impactful thing. So having money as your core system it's fine. As a concept, it's fine, but the execution is done poorly, in my opinion. Other things I liked that it was based on Naruto. I'm a Naruto fan. I used to watch a lot of Naruto when I was younger, and by younger I mean 7 or 6 years ago. I'm a fully grown adult man, so that is me. I haven't played Naruto or watched Naruto in a very long time, so I still enjoy the IP. I still enjoy the experience, just like I enjoy One Piece a great amount, more so the games and the experience and the universe more than I do enjoy the actual content that they produce. Other things I liked about the game, let's see. I think that's it. I just enjoyed that it was Naruto. I enjoyed the progression being tied to money where you actually have to use it, though the execution was done poorly, and I do like that there was a skill tree system. And that's all I can account for because that's all I played of the game. I only played for 3 hours because that's how bored I was. And you're going to be saying, if you enjoyed the game, okay, that's fine. That's your opinion. I respect it. You got past the really bad, the crappy start area, and you have to agree with me that the new player experience is really crappy. I may come back to this at a later date to play again to see if my opinion changed. But for now, I'm giving Bloodlines for a 300 Robux price a hard no. I'm going to give this game as a 0 Robux price a hard okay. It's okay for what it offers. For 300 Robux, hell no. Hell no. I wouldn't pay nearly as much. I do not suggest you play this game. You are going to get bored. You are going to get very bored when you play this game. This is going to be very boring when you play this game at the start. I cannot account for what is after that because I didn't get past it since it was so boring at the start. And may I account, this game was boring at the start. It was so boring. I walked around for hours and found almost nothing. And then I died over and over again because people were just mean. And you're going to be like, oh, get better, noob. Okay, that's fine. You can say that in comments. Be ready to be like, why are you so bad at Bloodlines? I don't understand. That's fine. I'll admit I wasn't good at the game because I barely played the game. But you also have to admit that the new player experience is done very poorly. And I'll do a video sometime maybe to explain what they could do to improve the new player experience and to improve the experience overall to progress in the game. Anyway, that's the video. I do not suggest you buy Bloodlines. It is not good. Yeah, okay, peace out. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe, as I said before. But other than that, I'm out. Bye, have a good day.